A study published in May of last year by Curious titled The Effects of Abortion, Decision Rightness, and Decision Type on Women's Satisfaction and Mental Health found that 43% of women who participated in the study, when given 4 options to rate their feelings on their decision to abort, said that their abortion was accepted but inconsistent with their values and preferences. That was 43% of women in the study. For the other 3 options, 33% identified as wanted, so a positive feeling, 14% as unwanted, and 10% as coerced. In all, 67% of women answered with at least some degree of negative feelings when asked about their abortion decision. In a powerful and great country, I asked myself, is this the best that we can do for women? We should be against abortion because it is immoral to kill a defenseless human being, but also because it contributes nothing to women, which I will aim to prove, and only acts as a band-aid to a gaping wound of a myriad of problems in our society that we should be focusing on. The economics and feelings of women regarding abortion are closely related, especially because economic difficulty is very commonly listed as a reason to obtain an abortion. According to the study mentioned previously, the one by Curious, 60% of women who participated would have liked to support to continue their pregnancy, whether that was financial, emotional, or otherwise type of support, but they ended their pregnancy since they didn't have that support. The real problem is women not feeling emotionally, socially, and economically supported to have children, which is a problem not solved by abortion. In fact, it has been shown that economic strain on women after being denied an abortion is temporary. In a study published in the National Library of Medicine, it is discussed that women who were denied abortions tended to show worse economic outcomes after a 6-month period and sometimes even up to 4 years. But after the 5-year study period, it was also shown that these differences on economic outcomes subsided, and both the women who could and couldn't get abortions ended up showing no significant differences in their economic situations. Abortion is like a permanent solution that entails death to temporary problems that we as a society could fix. Women should not be having abortions just because they think they have no other choice, because they lack support from our society. If we could get women resources for them to be able to raise their children, for them to be economically independent, financially independent, women would not feel the great need to seek abortion. A surprising statistic from the Turnaway study has shown that 96% of women who participated in the study said that they no longer wished they had aborted their baby after 5 years, a statistic that is not commonly disclosed by the discussions of this study, which has publicly shown mostly very negative effects on women who were turned away from abortions. But it also includes the statistic that 96% of women no longer wish they had aborted their children. It also has been shown that that abortion is safer than giving birth. But in reality, there is no conclusive evidence that shows this is true. In fact, in an article by Dr. Callum Miller, it is stated that this is believed because of the way maternal deaths are reported in the country, which strangely enough often includes suicides and ectopic pregnancies. This and other factors cause an inflation in the numbers, which makes it seem like having an abortion is ultimately safer than giving birth in general. But this is not actually the case. Restriction of abortion also does not mean that women will be denied life-saving care by law. According to an article by Dr. Ingrid Skop, every state, and I quote, has an exemption allowing abortion when necessary to save the life of the mother if her pregnancy poses a severe risk to her life. These laws specify that a physician may use his reasonable medical judgment to determine if intervention is necessary in a medical emergency. She also mentions that abortion restrictions could help prevent women from being exposed to the increased risk of death shown in studies in the year following an abortion. So women who get an abortion are at an increased risk for death the year following their abortion. And it could also help in limiting later abortions, which are more dangerous for women in their bodies. All in all, what I have discussed is only abortion's direct impact on women, but there are many more things to consider in this debate. The discussion encompasses everything, including the effects of abortion restrictions, which we have briefly discussed, biology, the well-being of children after birth, the debate on the personhood of the embryo or fetus, and bodily autonomy rights. It is important to mention that the claim that one should be able to do what they want with their body without any restrictions is a very dangerous one with very serious implications. As an example, just because I can move my body to steal something that I want from somebody, it doesn't mean that I should be allowed to perform that action with my body because I am infringing upon someone else's rights. So I could not claim for myself the right to do anything that I want with my body without any restrictions. So this analogy is not meant to represent the pro-abortion argument as a whole, because that would misrepresent it, and I know that. But this analogy is meant to illustrate the possible consequences of legislating language that is as broad and as ambiguous as that. So the phrase itself, saying that one should be allowed to do whatever they want with their body without any restrictions, is very ambiguous and it's too broad to be legislated. And it's also not a great mindset to have because, like I said, it's too broad. Bodily rights, when taken too far, like in the example that I mentioned before, infringe upon the rights of other human beings, which is something that we cannot have in a society of democracy and equality that values human life. Thank you.